Hi, my name is Sean. I'm the RC car manager at PM Hobbycraft. Today, what we're going to do is an unboxing for the TC7 touring car kit by Team Associated. This kit's been out now for roughly about 6 months, but with the indoor on-road carpet season coming, I figured right now would be a great time to unbox it. So here, what we'll do is we'll do a step-by-step going through all the different parts with it, maybe a little bit with the manual, and here we go. Okay, so in typical Associated fashion, they tend to keep everything well separated. One thing they do this time is they actually kept the bearings all separate, which is really nice. So when you get to that part of the bearings, then you can just go to the bag and grab it. Another thing that first jumps up at me also is they actually include full bottles of shock oil and diff oil. So they gave 3,037.5 weight, which is, will give you a really good starting point with the kit. So which is really nice, because before they gave just the small bottles, this time, they're going with right the full bottles, which is, a really, really great thing. And next thing I'm going to bring out is the chassis itself. So the chassis, a couple of differences they did do with it. The main difference is they actually narrowed the chassis by a few millimeters. So this will help from dragging during cornering, so you don't get it grabbing on the carpet or anything like that. The other thing they did do in this bag is they actually got the belts also in there. This belt is also a really new belt, so it's a lot more pliable, so it's going to be less friction for it. So it's going along the trend of a lot of other touring car companies with the low friction belt with it. Next bag here, it looks like we got all the steering knuckles, so you got the steering A-arm hinge pins. All this has all been redesigned too, so they've redone the C-hubs, the steering knuckles, the A-arms. With my talking to Associated, they've really did a lot of play with the actual track width of the front and rear of the vehicle to try to just get kind of the optimum handling of the vehicle. Also, one thing that I've heard is the play has reduced quite a bit with it too. So I haven't had a chance to build one yet, but just from feedback I've heard, there is a fair bit less play in it compared to the TC6.2 that they had. This bag looks like they got a whole bunch of different steps on it. So they looks like this one you got a bunch of hardware. You got the front bumper in there. Unfortunately, with it, they packed a whole bunch in here. So it looks like you got the differentials, your turnbuckles, everything in there. So by the looks of it, this one here, you're going to be, opening up this bag when you build it, separating them all, and you'll be grabbing certain parts during it. Not a bad thing to have. The biggest thing is they have everything in individual bags in it, so you're not going to be worried about having a whole bunch of, going from this bag to this bag, trying to grab it. So even though they're in one big bag, it looks like they're all divided up to, by looking at this, like at least 10 different steps in here. So it looks like it's going to make your life really easy to build. Last bag that they got, so here is looks like to be all the servo mounts, the bulkheads and everything. They did do a lot of revamping on this part too. So the motor mount itself is all one piece now. In past year they had like a two-piece mount to it. Now they just have one. So what's going to happen with this is everything is mounted very neutral on, so right in the center of the chassis where all the mounts, so your motor mounts are all down the middle, your servo mounts are all down the middle. So it helps create more flex for the chassis, more consistent flex for the chassis. That way it's just going to handle more consistently. You're not going to have it handling more erratically if you had mounts all over the place. So keeping everything in line helps everything quite a bit. And then the last one they have is their manual. I've always been a pretty good fan of the manual. It's pretty straightforward. They don't get anything. They don't go over the top. Just straightforward explanations, showing you what it does, and moving on. So it might be a little bit more for an inexperienced builder, for it. But once you get past the first couple pages of it and get used to what they do, it's actually really easy. It doesn't take up too much space on the manual. The last thing they did, of course, is just a straight sticker sheet to it. Just for your Team Associated, Reedy, Sonic, so all the Team Associated brand. That's kind of the gist of it. Unfortunately, with the bags and stuff, they kept everything into a couple bigger bags. But everything inside, though, is individually bagged, so it makes life, still going to be very easy to build. A couple other things, too, is this is a whole new car over the TC 6.2. So anyone that ran the 6.2 is wondering, hey, what can I carry over to it? The only thing that carries over to it is actually the differentials, drive shafts, and the front bumper. That's about it. Everything else is all brand new. Steering parts are all brand new. The front bumper, of course, stayed the same. The belts are the same size, but of course they increased the better, the more pliable belts to it. Rear end is all, all new too, with the rear hub carriers, the shock tower. Those are all new items, and they've done more of a big bore shock to it. So what could happen now is you can run a bigger spring. I know a lot of people have been running X-ray spring, Yokomo springs, maybe Tamiya springs. They can all work fine with the stock cup and the collar with it, so you don't have to sit there and mess around, so you have a lot more tuning options. The other thing too, I did a quick look over of what kind of pistons and everything came with it, and they come with a machine piston this time, so they're not just pressed, so they're actually machined, so there's no trimming involved at all with the pistons, and they all come with a 1.1 millimeter 3-hole piston, which, looking at the setup sheets, they look to be all the 90% of the team drivers that I've seen out there have been using it. This is just kind of your basic thing. Hope you enjoyed it. Please check out our website, www.pmhobbycraft.ca. Go to our Facebook channel, check us out more. We have other videos on there. And like us, share it around. And I'll be back probably in another couple weeks here, maybe do something a little bit different with 12 scale. Thanks very much, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope you enjoyed watching today. There, you got that too.